Give it some ambience. What is good, everyone, and welcome back to yet another video. Now today it's all about product photography, and I'm gonna be taking you guys behind the scenes on an in-home photo shoot. There's something really interesting about being able to take really good photos, but in the comfort of your home, like on your kitchen floor, in your office, on your bedroom floor, wherever it will be. But there is just something that's really, really nice and quite satisfying about just being able to take amazing photos from the comfort of your own home. I'm not sure if you guys can remember, but a few months back at the start of the UK lockdown, me and my friend Ollie tried to recreate the Apple iPhone default wallpapers, I think back in like 2016, but we went out and we bought a fish and we basically made a whole studio setup to basically recreate the Apple iPhone wallpapers, and we shot the entire thing literally where I'm sitting right now from the comfort of my own home, essentially. But today we're doing something that's pretty similar but also different, because we're not shooting an animal, we're not shooting a fish, we're shooting products. So the absolutely wonderful people over at JD Sport have been kind enough to send me a pair of trainers. And for anyone that doesn't know about JD Sport, they are the leading sports trainer fashion retailer over here in the UK. They have been kind enough to send me over the ADIDAS Continental, and for anyone that hasn't seen this shoe before, this is what it looks like. It is the same shape and silhouette as the Yeezy Calabasas shoe. So of course this is the product, this is the main focus of the photo shoot that we'll be doing today. And the people over at JD basically set me this project and said, Ben, while you're in lockdown, we want you to get really, really creative with some product photography. We're gonna give you these shoes. So massive thank you to JD for sending me these. So the first thing that I'm going to do before taking product photos is figure out the theme. Now, of course, this right here is an ADIDAS shoe. It is a sports shoe. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of sports is speed for some reason. I don't know why. I think of running. I think of people moving fast. I did a little bit of research earlier today over on my computer, and I just searched up on Google sports shoe photography. And a lot of the images that I did notice were all kind of shot on like a running track, or there's people running and things like that. And obviously this is an in-home photo shoot. So one thing that I also noticed is that in a lot of those photographs, the shoe is always kind of made to look like it's floating, like the laces are high up in the air, the shoe's like off the ground, and it looks like the shoe is basically in limbo. So that's something that kind of struck a bit of inspiration, and I think that is the theme that I might be going for today, is kind of having it look like it's floating, having some sort of futuristic theme to it, if that makes sense. But I do as well also like the idea of speed, and having this kind of look like it's floating in space or in some sort of like limbo land, and then things around it maybe to give off that fast-paced sort of electric moving speed impression, I think would look really cool. There are a few ways of achieving that sort of speed motion blur sort of look, especially when doing long exposures. But seeing as I'm doing the photo shoot indoors, I'll be able to use lighting and all different things around me to enhance the way that this product looks. What I want to do is look around my immediate environment. Where do I want to shoot this? What's my background going to look like? And does that background support my theme? The product itself is a white trainer, so already it's a very bright color with a red and blue stripe down both sides. So essentially what we don't want to be doing is using a background or shooting it on something that draws the attention away from the shoe. So we want to be shooting on something dark. I'm pretty sure a majority of you watching have a black bed sheet or a black blanket just lying around your house. And if you don't, you can pick up something like this, which was like, I think £5 from Amazon, and it's just a big black fabric sheet, which I just use for product photography or anything I need to just use a dark background for. I can just pick something like this for like a £5. Another positive when it comes to shooting on a black background is that when it comes to editing, if you have any spots or any marks on the photo, you can really easily edit that out with like a brush tool or anything on Photoshop. The reason why I've gone for black is because one, it's easier to work with when it comes to editing. Two, I wanted to give off that space sort of futuristic kind of levitation vibe. And three, it doesn't take the attention away from the product. Okay, so it is about 9 p.m. right now. I'm in the kitchen. This is where the photo shoot is about to go down. I've got the product here, I've got my softbox, some notes, because there are a few specific photos and styles I'm going to go for during this little photo shoot. I still need to get a few more bits from upstairs, like a black backdrop, which is what I used, I think, for the recreating Apple video. Luckily, I kept that backdrop. I don't want any sort of distractions in this photo. I want it to look really sort of futuristic, maybe sort of Star Wars themed. In order to hang up the backdrop, we basically need to use 2 light stands to like hold up the sheet and act as pillars essentially. Right, so I'm currently in my office trying to find something that I can use to prop the shoe up because I want it to look like it's floating at an angle, and I'm trying to find something that I can prop it up that's not coloured. I want something black essentially because it will be easier for me to edit out. GoPro mounts in here, but I don't think they'll be strong enough. No, that's too... Oh, this could work actually. Okay, so not sure if this is going to work, but if I use this black supreme little light and balance it like this, oh, fucking done it.
Chill.
I've done it. So that'll be a lot easier to edit out as well because they're both black, so I can just, so now what I want to do is I want to have the laces look like they're floating. So I'm going to get like, I think I'm going to use one of these, and I have this across here, maybe tie some, I don't know, some sewing wire or something, thread it through the shoe to have it give that illusion that the laces are floating and the shoe is just in limbo. Okay, so we have finally managed to hang up the laces. We need to amend them a little bit before we shoot because this one's kind of starting to fall that way, but this one looks good. So done the laces, and now what we need to do is set up the lighting. So let's talk about lighting for a second. You want to light this so it looks as good as possible in camera. I am going to light this with the Godox 60 watt with the square softbox and a diffuser on. I am also going to be using my 2 aperture mini lights with a red and blue gel to kind of give off that color contrast in the photo. We have the lights and everything set up. What I am thinking of doing on this little shot list is maybe doing a like long exposure and merging 2 photos together. So I really like the effect that both of these lights are giving off at the moment because you've got one side of the shoe is lit up red, the other one is blue. Because I want to merge 2 photos together, red and blue light trails in the back. One picture, again, is going to be stationary like this, and then we're going to get another one exactly the same, but have both of these lights sort of in my hand, and I'm going to get some like light trails, and then hopefully when it comes to editing, I can basically merge them together. And then we also have this thing here, atmosphere aerosol, which is basically like in-house smoke grenade. So I'll spray some right at the moment, but it creates like a smoky atmosphere. Yeah, I'm gonna get 2 photos now, just a bit stationary like this, and then we're gonna move on to getting some long exposures. First shoot, I'm basically gonna take a photo exactly like it is now. I'm gonna spray the atmosphere aerosol, give it some ambience.
Juice on it, like, how do you
so do like, just do a bunch of swirls, see what it looks like. Maybe do like a line going across.
Or like,
so when I say go, just go straight, 1 and like that, really quick, because it's only 3 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. One more time, 3, 2, 1. So start and go. Okay, so the iPhone light isn't actually working too well because I think it's just too thin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick to the aperture lights in red and blue and just go for some really, really simple like patterns, maybe get some like semicircles going on or whatnot. But then hopefully we can just merge those together with the shots that we took at the beginning. Because I'm doing this photo shoot in my kitchen, I've got a lot more room to play around with different focal lengths. Whereas if I was to do it in here, I've actually not got that much room in here. So I wouldn't really necessarily be able to use an 85 or even a 50 if I was doing it in here, whereas because I'm doing it downstairs, I can kind of experiment with what lenses would be the best lenses to use to get that compression and basically fill up the frame how I want it to. I actually ended up using the Sigma 50mm 1.4 and the 35mm 1.2. Now I really like the focal length between 35 and 50, so I couldn't really decide, and also both these lenses are just ridiculously sharp. If any of you guys are interested in doing some product photography and are a bit unsure about what lens to buy, I would really recommend a 50mm 1.8. I think you can get like a pancake lens for Sony or Canon for about 160, 150 pound if you haven't got like that much to spend, or if you've got a little bit more, maybe investing in a macro lens, because macro lenses are just incredible for product photography, and I actually don't have one, and I don't know why I don't have a macro lens. That's my advice on lenses if you do want to do some product photography. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a slightly longer exposure and put it on 1/5 because we're not getting as much sort of movement as we want. We change it to 1/5 instead of 1/3. 3, 2, 1, go. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get some really cool detail shots off the back of the shoe, probably some stuff from the side. I think if you hold this really close to the lens, you get some really nice flare. Yo, this lens flare looks ridiculous. Wait. I think we should spray some more, some more stuff on that side though. Okay, so now that we finished shooting everything, got all of our stuff, we've got all our pictures on our memory card. Now let's go ahead and load those photos into Lightroom and start the editing process. So what I did was I actually merged two pictures together. I didn't want to over edit this photo too much. I simply wanted to bring out quite a lot of the detail in the shoe, and I also wanted to play around with the hue on the blue and the red so it didn't look too strong on each side. I didn't really have to do that much Lightroom editing to this photo because the lighting and everything in the image was exactly how I wanted it to be in camera, which is what I said before. Make sure your lighting and everything is set up, because when I actually brought that into Lightroom, I didn't have to do that much touching up to the image whatsoever. So now I've finished editing that photo in Lightroom and I've got the colors how I want them to be. I then opened it into Photoshop. This is where a majority of the editing took place. And first I started off by masking out both the supports I had for the shoe as well as the string holding up the laces. I used the clone stamp tool and the spot healing tool to amend any errors on the photo. And like I said at the beginning, because I shot it on a black background, it was a lot easier for me to get rid of these objects that I used to actually have the shoe look like it's floating. It was a lot easier to remove those objects simply because I had it shot on a black background. So once I finished editing that photo in Photoshop and I removed everything that I needed to remove and whatnot, I went back into Lightroom and then found another picture where Ollie used the aperture lights as the light trails. And then I found one of those pictures and then basically took the light trail from that picture and merged it into the other one. So I then cut that shape out and layered it over the first photo I'd edited, and then used the eraser tool and just basically erased the light trail from the shoe to make it look like the lights were behind. This took quite a lot of time because I had to be really precise with the eraser, so I literally would go right around the shoe edge. But once I'd done that, I then went into Google and then found some smoke overlays and just enhanced some smoke and give it some like misty sort of Star Wars vibe. And then that is literally the final edit. That is the final image. I hope you guys like it. Literally, it was so much fun. It didn't take me that long actually to edit. Massive thank you to JD Sports for sending me the ADIDAS Continental so I could make this video for you guys and show you a little bit about product photography in home. So big thank you to them. And lastly, I just want to thank all of you because the support you've all shown me on my most recent videos over the past few months while in lockdown, it's been absolutely incredible, and I'm really happy you're enjoying watching my videos, and I really love making them. So big thank you to all you lot for the support. You're all amazing. If you are new to the channel, go over and check me out on Instagram, send me a DM, tell me you came from YouTube, and I also would love to see some of the content you guys have made. If you have anything to show me, tag me in it, send me a DM. That is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Peace.